Welcome to the Wager Makers Podcast with Webb and Smitt.
Brick by brick, baby. I'm freaking out, Webb.
I was told there'd be no man. Stupidity's going to be an asset. What a bunch of crybabies.
Hello, my name is Steve Smith, and this is Rob Weber. Say hey, Webb.
Hello. What's up, Smitt?
What's up, Webb? I'm Smitt, that's Webb, and we are the Wager Makers, and this is the Wager Maker Podcast. Thank you all for joining us. Webb, this is Wager Maker Podcast number 69.
69. That's a homage to Ronnie Munn from the Howard Stern Show. 69, Smitt. Time flies. Who would have thunk it way back when? I did have to do some research. Well, one did come to mind. Tim Cumry came to mind just because he was the dude who had the nasty leg break. I believe that was the Super Bowl. He was on the Bengals, I think, against the Niners. Maybe he had that. One of the first. Him and Joe Theismann were kind of the only two guys who had that dislocation back in the day. We had saw Prescott had it. The guy last year on the wide receiver on the Cowboys had it last year, and then what's his name just had it here over the weekend, Kyle Allen. So, and then the other 69 that I did have to look up was Jared Allen, defensive end on a couple of different teams. So that's what I came up with. I don't know, nothing really stuck out to me. So.
Right. And Jared Allen was a good one. Obviously, real good defensive lineman for the Vikings most of the time. I think he played a little bit for the Bears and the Chiefs.
I think I saw
also.
some of the Chiefs uniform. Yeah. Yep.
Also,
he was a sack master.
Right. Also, Mark Schlereth.
Yeah.
He was on ESPN a lot, but he was one of the, I think, original Hogs, if I'm not mistaken, back in the day.
He was definitely on the
Redskins.
And I don't know if he was a Hog. He might have been.
Maybe he was after the Hog.
Yeah. It's funny too because he had that Jillian Barr syndrome or whatever it's called, the same thing that the center for the Cowboys had, Travis Frederick. So that's one of the things I've read a lot about him, just based on the thing that happened with the Cowboys center who's now retired. So Weird.
Cool. Welcome everybody. Episode 69. We'll be hitting triple digits soon by the end of the season almost.
31 more.
31 more. Yeah. And welcome everybody. It's Veterans Day. For you those, it was Wednesday night. It's Veterans Day. Thank you all to veterans out there. We appreciate you guys. We always love betting on Army, Navy, Air Force.
Oh yeah, we love the Service Academy.
Yep. So thank you all for the veterans out there. We appreciate you so that we can sit here and do dumb shit like this in America.
Right. Sit in my garage and talk shit about everything.
So thank you all for joining us. We have a few things. So just go over some of our pools and all that kind of stuff. Survivor pool. It was close.
I thought I had it won. That was Gary Frangione and Scott Wheatley were rooting for me, man. That was $150 in their pocket as soon as that happens. And I will be winning it. I got Green Bay this week for whoever's left. I think Walsh and Chad Arnold. I'm taking the Packers. My pick is already in. So good luck, boys.
Right. The Patriots. So it was you. It's down to three people. It was you and Chad Arnold and Doug Walsh both had the Patriots. You had somebody that won earlier. I think maybe the Steelers against the Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken, or I forget who it was, but you had a win in the bank early. And so Monday night, man, it was the Patriots were down to the wire there, but Cam and the boys found a way. Well, I should say the Jets and the boys found the way to do what they do.
That's right. It's not who you play; it's who you pick against, especially in Survivor. You obviously you're good to go. You bet against the Jets every week this year.
Man, how bad? I mean, I thought that really way through even the notes I sent you about today's show. You can see it said, "Oh, Jets Nick Ferrone and the Jets finally get their first win." Survivor pool, we get to pay. Webb wins the Survivor pool. We get to pay out to Nick and Scott the $150 each.
Gary,
sorry, and Gary and Scott, and well, didn't work out, so we got to move on. Got the results of our college football pool. Still going strong. The college football pick'em. And
that's a limited menu on there for those games. I did some picks today, and they even had the Georgia. They didn't have any of the games like Thursday or Friday games. I don't think.
Maybe just certain conferences that weren't set up in the beginning. I'll see if I can. I can see if I can expand some of those
And they did even have today, I think I picked Missouri against Georgia, and that game has been canceled, so I had to go back in and switch it up. So be careful.
Yeah, don't forget a lot of games. Man, a lot of games are
I
canceled.
think there's 9 this week. Yeah. Yep. So my point was just make sure that those games you pick are going to be played.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes it changes day to day.
Right. You're probably off, but I do it early in the week. You're probably better doing it, Friday night.
Right. So Reed's still in first place. Lil Saint the Goat moved up into second. Scott Wheatley, Lil Saint the Goat had a 7-2 week this week. Scott Wheatley with a 6-4 moved into third. Then we've got Gary Webb, the wager maker. Steve Smith, I'm right behind you. Only 2 picks behind you.
Yeah.
Todd Lewis and then Chad Arnold with his team. The Webb Dallas sucks. And then the intern is Nick is down and now in last place. There's one last person, but the Angry Wave, I think they only put in picks for like 1 week. So that's
fall off. We got to blow it up for next year for sure.
I want to shout out to Lil Saint the Goat and see really our wager makers rap web is out. We're gonna wrap up the show here with it tonight. I'm gonna put it as the bumper music at the end, so you guys can hear See Really and the Lil Saint the Goat.
The full version.
Good stuff. What's up?
The full version or just or is it the same thing?
I don't know what's the full version. The remastered.
All right, well send that to me.
I don't know how long it is. I don't know.
Send that over to me.
Yeah. All right. It might be the same thing I sent you before.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do something.
Maybe they touched it up a little bit.
Hey, it's a masterpiece.
All right. Don't forget, everyone, thrivefantasy.com. You can go on in there, and the promo code is wagermakers, and get yourself some matching money when you go on there. And they got all kinds of great fantasy games. The Masters is coming up tomorrow. Lots of props, lots of everything for the Masters. Should be a lot of fun.
80% chance of rain tomorrow there. And then I was listening, which was always the curse of death, listening to something. And they're I guess lefties play well at Augusta, so I don't know if that's a hint or not a hint.
Well, that's how. If you look at some of my picks I had, I took a couple long shots. One of them was Bubba Watson.
Yeah, he was up there. He's dropped now, dude. He's 18 now. What'd you get, Matt?
Man, like 20 something, I think.
I'd have to check. Yeah, but he's 18. I think it was probably even higher than that. Yeah, he's a lefty, and there's 2 other lefties, and Phil's a lefty, and somebody else they were talking about taking.
Yeah, because I think the draw, like righties have to fit long fades at Augusta, and so lefties can hit the long draw, I believe, or vice versa.
Right.
So everybody, man, it's dim. Our boy, fucking, what's this, the Shambo or whatever?
He's going to use a 48-inch driver or something. Did you see that? Shut the fuck up.
I don't know. He's ridiculous. He hits the ball so much further than everybody else. It's unbelievable. He was talking about some of his second shots going into the greens in his practice round, and it was all like wedges. He said one of the holes, like the second or third holes of par 4, he hit over the green with a 3-wood off the tee on a par 4 on like the second or third hole. Something ridiculous. So we'll see how he goes. If he can overpower this thing, so be it. But, man.
Hey, listen, if he can outsmart it, more power to him. But I mean, I'm not rooting for him.
Yep. So that'll be a lot of fun. But anyway, go to Thrive Fantasy. Don't forget. And
I mean, that's the perfect scenario for Thrive Fantasy.
Right. All the prop bets and all the fantasy stuff is cool. So last week, Webb and NFL went 4-4. Not our best week, but it was a Tuesday show that makes it difficult. I've got a lot of games I like this week. So we're still sitting at.
I don't like too much. That's
still good. Sitting at number 11 out of 74 in the sportswatchmonitor.com. So if we get on one of our rolls, one of our roll weeks, maybe we can do some stuff. And then in college we went 6-5 last week. Started out rough. Wyoming and Miami both lost, and then but we had BYU against Boise on that Friday night. So
that's my squad right there, BYU.
And they rolled over Boise, but Boise had some quarterback issues, so that game was over almost before it started. I think they're already playing with a backup quarterback, and then their quarterback got a concussion early in the first quarter. So BYU got up early, and then that was
it. I mean, they're talking about sneaking in, and they got a shot at getting into that 4-hole. I'm rooting for them. I think it would be great.
Right, it'll be good to see one of those outside teams. If ever there was a year to do something like that, this would probably be the year. But I don't know how it's going to fit in. You figure Alabama's going to get in there, probably Notre Dame now at this point. or Clemson or both. They'll probably play in a playoff if I'm not mistaken. They might both. Maybe they'll split in.
Well, they're going to play each other again. They're going to play each other again in the ACC championship, I think, right? Or whatever. They play each other again, probably.
I think ACC championship.
I mean, what those teams, the BYUs of the world, are hoping for Notre Dame to beat them again, and that would knock Clemson out of it. But I don't see that happening. I would see Notre Dame losing once and then getting beat by. That's what I'd like to see, and then have Notre Dame get knocked out and have it be Clemson, BYU, Bama, and I guess Ohio State probably. Yeah.
Right. So we'll see. I mean, but I think if Clemson and Notre Dame split, there's a good chance, and things stay the same, there's a good chance those teams, I think, would get in over BYU.
Yeah. Well, Clemson, if they do split, they're going to look at it that Trevor Lawrence didn't play, which probably is rightfully so. So, that
was a crazy game the other night, man. Had so many chances. We were on Clemson, had so many chances to cover, but the Clemson D just could never stop I was really surprised at how poorly the Clemson defense played, to be honest.
The interior, yeah. I mean, that's like the front seven is not what it once was. I mean, they're pumping out 2 and 3 pros a year from that defensive line, and there's usually one of those. The one dude that they have, like that, linebacker that's, Southern dude, just eats nails, and that one I think he's hurt for them this year.
47.
One of those.
Yeah.
So that they're missing that.
And he's like their quarterback on D. Their middle linebacker.
It's like the heart and soul, like the dude who grew up on a farm right down there. He's born. It's 50 people in his family went to Clemson.
Right. So that was a tough game we had that night. A couple other ones. We had North Carolina. They covered pretty easy. We had Ohio State over Rutgers. Rutgers came out with all the stops and fake plays and all that kind of crap. Northwestern won. Florida won.
Let me interrupt you. Rutgers is favored this week by almost a touchdown in a conference play. So you want to talk about upside down and backwards and cats loving dogs. That is some crazy shit right there.
The year 2020, Webb, it just keeps getting crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be, at this point, they'll have 2. I don't know if they've had 2 wins combined since they've been in the conference. They're going to have 2 wins. They'll be, got to be like second place in the conference.
Right. So since Schiano left, probably they haven't had this kind of success.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So we had Northwestern, the big game in the SEC, Florida and Georgia. We had a good pick on Florida. Over Minnesota was a stinker, but Tulane also covered. So that was our 6 and 5. Thursday night in the NFL, we did good. We had the Packers and the over. That was 2 wins. We had the Bills, and but we took the Bears and the Colts. That was crap. We took the over in the Saints. That should have gone over easy if Tom Brady doesn't just lay give me a break.
That's a farce that didn't go over. If I would have told you that the Saints were going to score 38 points, right, and the total was 52. We would bet our lives that the game was going over.
Had the over in the Raiders. That was a good one. Picked the Colts, the Bears, and the Cards. That didn't work out too good. So
that was a good pick. That over. That pick by you.
Yep. So 4 and 4, but like I say, that doesn't kill you. That doesn't kill you in our competition here. So we're 11. All we need is one of our good, 8 and 2 weeks. One of those things. So,
right, and we'll be right up to the top.
We'll go from there. Big game. In college, in pro football last week, the Sunday night game, and we talked a little bit about it. Man, the Saints just came out and fucking manhandled the Buccaneers. We don't talk much about offensive and defensive lines, Webb, but every time we forget about talking about it, it holds true. We talk about Antonio Brown and Mike Evans and they got Godwin and they got all, Tampa Bay. Man, the Saints just kicked their ass in the trenches. They dominated the offensive line. Drew Brees had a big pocket all day long back there. And on the other side, Tampa just couldn't do anything offensively. They had pressure in Tom Brady's face all game long.
The Saints were smart. They got some good quality offensive linemen. They have some depth. I think they drafted a center and then they drafted another guy this year. No, both of those guys turned out to be players. What's his name? Andres Pete is having a little bit of a bounce back year. It looks like, and if you can keep that pocket clean in front of Breeze, that changes. If he could step up, that kind of changes everything. That was the concern, I think, for Tampa Bay. They did draft, what's his name, Wirfs or whatever. I think that offensive line is still a work in progress, but I think they figured they could work around it with Brady and Arians and then the receivers that they had. But obviously, I mean, that changes the complexion of the NFL season, that game. I mean, the Saints clearly are looking, top. You got to look at the Saints and I guess the Packers. I mean, but the Saints are probably on top of them. Yeah. I mean, I don't know who's going to be better in the NFC. It's clearly not the Buccaneers. So
right, but I think we've liked them all along. They'll probably bounce back, but we'll see.
Yeah, but they've hurt us.
They've let us down a few times.
Yeah,
I think we had the Bears that one night. We had
given them the benefit of the doubt more than once,
over and over again. Right. At what point are we the fools?
Right. We got to look at it like what it is.
So, all right. So that was our picks for the week. The big news in college football week. We talk about it every week. We got to talk about the COVID a little bit. The SEC is just starting to have some issues here with this.
COVID.
The A&M game is canceled. I mentioned this week. I said
Alabama, LSU.
I mentioned that the LSU is really looking at this as like a mulligan season almost with the backup quarterbacks. I'm telling you, dude, they want no part of this football game right now. They do not want to come out and lose 75-10 to Alabama the way things have been the last few years. I know Coach O has some brownie points in his bank, and they got a national championship, so that buys you some time. So there's no way they want to go out on national TV and get their ass handed to them by Alabama. So I think they would be fine if this game was just canceled because of COVID.
All right, move on. Yep.
We can't play.
They probably punt on this whole season. LSU, I think, would probably. Lamar Chase, whatever his name is, the receiver opted out. They got quarterback issues. You just keep the goodwill from the championship and move on to, let's start talking about spring practice. Right. I think that would work.
They would
work
like
well
to lose as many games off of their schedule as possible.
Right.
They do not want to see on national TV, have all the possible recruits see their team get beat, even if in the COVID situation, see their team get beat by 40 points to Alabama. There's no way that helps recruiting at all. So it would be better for them to say,
especially
look,
Mac Jones would be throwing the ball. Right. Mac Jones would just leading the Heisman after playing that, just lighting up the secondary.
Right. And it came out today, Miles Brennan, their quarterback that was injured after a couple games in. He's probably going to be out for the season almost, it looks like now.
Right.
So they were excited about getting some of these young guys in there, but now they're like, look, I'll let them play against Vanderbilt and stuff.
Right. Anyway.
I'm not trying to lose them for next year and their confidence in anything. But
especially Well, when it's on the SEC network, we can get the boys in there. We don't need 2:00, Channel 2 at 3:30 against an hungry, angry Alabama team that just saw Clemson lose.
Right. So, all right, Webb.
Well, speaking of that, we're quick to jump on leagues and players and teams that do some stupid shit. Let's give some props to the MAC conference. How about these dudes? Can you talk about smart? They're playing games on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, the only show in town, literally. Okay. Not only that, you're getting all 3 games on national TV. You want to talk about helping out recruiting? You got a kid who's a tweener. Listen, son, you want to go? Yeah, you'll get some time at whatever these FBS, a big school. You want to come and start for me, but you're going to be on ESPN or CBS. Yep. Whatever that channel is, but national TV every Tuesday or Wednesday when there's not another game on. And there's even, to me, there's no drop off the product they put out there is fine. You've seen the Dallas Cowboys play football. It's just this team. Buffalo is good. They're legit. Somebody that maybe the Akron and Bowling Greens aren't so hot, but the product is fine. And then it's there's pros coming out of there.
Right. And how many years, Webb, they got these games on a weeknight and we're guessing. I can't even remember which one's Central Michigan or Eastern Michigan or Western Michigan. We watched these games the last 2 weeks. It's good football. We've always known that MAC plays good football. That's not really anything new. But really, we're really watching it. It's the only show in town. It's the same thing we were talking about Korean baseball back in the day. It's like, why don't these put these games on when you can see them?
Right. That's my point. Like we jump on these guys. Let's give somebody like they get it. There's somebody in that conference or somewhere gets it because it's amazing and it's only going to help every team in the conference. And not only that helps, that raises the level for every sport there. It's more money for, soccer and tennis or whatever. So good for them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I was meaning to say that we'll talk about that too, because it's I mean, why compete against all the other games if you can play on Tuesday and Wednesday night by yourself? There's no basketball, there's no baseball, there's no nothing.
Right.
In fact, Tuesday, I didn't realize that they were playing on Tuesday night. So Tuesday afternoon, I was going to text you and say, like, I guess I'm supposed to watch a movie tonight or something like that.
Right. I guess it's date night, right?
And there was 3 games on last night, and now there's 3 more. They don't even do them all on the same night. They're like, fuck it, we'll do Tuesday
right,
and
even
Wednesday.
more genius, right? Exactly. So you're dominating 2 nights.
Yep.
So you're getting 2 nights of action.
And it's good football. They play hard hitting, good football. They play wide open. There's passing.
Yep.
It's not that crazy wide open shit, but they play ball. They play good ball.
Right. Oh yeah, it's totally right. The product is more than okay.
Right. No doubt. Good football. I'm becoming a fan of the MAC.
Right. Exactly.
They play outside. It's cold looking and shit.
Right. There's all kinds of crazy shit. Right. There's shit in the background. Sometimes you're going to get some snow. And look, dude, what's the date? The November 11th. It's pouring rain here in New Jersey. Right. Sideways rain. Nothing going on. Nothing to do except watch MAC football.
And we have Eastern Michigan plus 8.5, and they're winning 21-10 right now.
Well, there you go. Even that's a bonus. That's a bonus.
That's the football I like.
That's right. Keep on playing, baby.
We got skunked on Tuesdays and Wednesday nights because we're actually getting to watch the games and Eastern Michigan, the team that lost last week to this team, and it's good.
Right, actually, I pulled up last week's scores. I compared. I'm like, I know what I'm doing here. Right. I'm doing this.
Kind of watched a couple of the games. I remember the quarterback from Kent. We had Kent last night. I remember the quarterback was good quarterback at Kent.
Yeah, Buffalo. They're legit.
Yep. So good shit. I got screwed on that over with Buffalo last night too. With about 11 minutes left in the game, 8 minutes left in the game, I only needed a touchdown. I was
counting that money too. That's another one. I'm like, this is okay.
And Miami of Ohio goes down to the 5-yard line. They're down 38. What is it? 38-3, 42. They kick a field goal to make it 6. Right. Instead of going for it on 4th down.
Right.
And then at that point, it was kind of over because the other team was just running out the clock. We had one last chance, but it was.
Got to break a dive. He's got to break it between the center and guard hole for 80 yards.
Right. So, all right. Well, I guess maybe we can. Maybe we'll just get to the picks for this week.
Let's talk a little baseball real quick. Cy Young came out here today. What's his name? Bieber. Bieber won for the Reds. That's the first Red ever to win the Cy Young. I found that interesting based on how good they were at the big red machine.
Back in the 70s.
Yeah, I found that kind of weird. And then who else? Bauer, right? Won it for the Indians, right? And a couple guys, your boy LeMahieu is now a free agent, right? He opted out. I think Bauer opted out, and one other guy opted out.
Not noticed.
And then the dude on the Mets, you see the owner came out. He's like, we're going to turn this into an elite thing. And then Stroman, the little guy, used to pitch for he was in my rotation for a while. Pitch for the Blue Jays. He came out, and so he opted in. How cool is that to say, hey, you know what? I'll opt in for 18.5, and the other guys opted out on 18.5. So that's nice life, nice country.
Yeah. Listen, I got a really important decision to make.
All right.
Do we take 18.9 million or not?
Right.
Or try and get more.
Right. Yeah. Worst case, it'll be around the same, but more than likely it'll be 7 or 8 million more. But the word is that LeMahieu might go across town, Smitt, so that might hurt the Yankees.
To me, he's the best player they got. I know everybody loves Judge and all. LeMahieu.
Well, he's like bread and butter. He's solid. He's the electric bill or whatever.
There's no debt. Judge will go on a streak for a month, but then he'll go on a cold streak for a month.
The other way, and then get hurt. To boot.
Shit. I mean, who else
is hurt?
I mean, LeMahieu is the man over there. So I'm hoping maybe they put
there every day. He's counted on and produces day in, day out.
Right. So, and then for managers of the year, Cashman won the American League, even though he lost me Cashman in the World Series. And probably one of my favorite baseball players of all time, where Don Mattingly gets the not probably. I mean, he's He's my favorite player.
He was there the lean years for the Yankees. He was the one bright spot for a long time. Donnie Baseball. Yeah, I mean, they had a good year, so he deserved it. And, kudos to baseball again. I mean, they're talking about their season. NBA is coming out with their 82-game season, or 72-game, I think. Sorry. I think it starts right before Christmas, which is great. They're going to go to camp here pretty soon. We got football take us right there, and then we're going to have basketball tip it off. Hockey's going to follow. It rolls right into baseball season again, and so we'll be all right. Even this COVID's hanging around, more limitations coming back here in Jersey, but at least we got some shit to gamble on.
Yep. So we're just, as long as it keeps going on, we got some. I don't mind sitting at home watching TV if that's
right. As long as there's something to gamble on.
But all right, is that the Wager Maker Express coming through tonight in the rain?
There it is, in the rain.
All right. So what else we got?
I think that's all I wanted to cover. Those couple things. Make sure that we gave the MAC their props and just mention the Cy Young. Just mention some other sports just to make sure we're touching all the bases.
NBA draft is soon, right?
They're talking about it. Yeah, this isn't the 1 year. There's really no consensus or free. Minnesota's got the first pick, and I think it's weird. Whatchamacallit's the second pick, the Warriors.
Yeah. But they've been so banged up, man. They need if their guys come back healthy and they can get a real player. But I don't know. A lot of people talking about Melo Ball being one of the top.
I saw him being one, and then the dude Anthony Edwards from Georgia. But listen, I'm a pretty big college basketball fan. I don't know. No, I haven't seen LaMelo. Right? Is that his name? Yeah, right. He played in where? China or Australia or something?
Yeah, somewhere overseas.
I feel bad though. You root against that dude just because of his dad, so it's weird.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we can want to get into some college football picks and see
let's make some money.
All right. So tomorrow night, Webb, they got a game, Colorado State and Boise. I don't know what the Boise quarterback situation is. They're favored by 14. Colorado State is terrible, but we took them against them last week, and at least I did. I don't know if that was one of the ones we picked. And this because in week 1, the Colorado State quarterback was awful. And then so I pick against them. In week 2, they got this other guy, big, strong kid O'Brien. He's throwing the ball all over the place. They played, who the heck did they play last week? Jerks.
We had against them. Yeah.
Wyoming. We had Wyoming.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with these games. You're kind of forced to we kind of put our feet to the fire here. I do like, I was all set to take Boise. I didn't know the deal with the quarterback. They had that big, strong kid from the USC transfer.
He got a concussion. That's the same one. He got a concussion early last week, so I don't know what his situation is going to be.
I would doubt he's going to play, but I don't know why that number hasn't changed. 14 is still a pretty big number. I was about all over them, so I don't know. We're going to have to.
I'll tell you, Colorado State's been so crappy that they can probably beat them by 14, even with the kid they brought in the game last week was like a freshman. And he didn't do so bad, but it was BYU was just really good. So I could almost see Boise winning with a freshman quarterback by 14, just running the ball and playing D and turning over Colorado State.
Yeah, that's fine. I was all over Boise, and sometimes it's what you don't know helps you.
Right.
Too much more news or more information is not good, right? So that's cool. I'm all over Florida. FAU, Florida Atlantic on Friday 13th. I love that. -8.5, buy it to 8 against it. I think like Florida International's 0-3. They're just not even competitive. Florida Atlantic was a team that Kiffin had last year. So he did recruit some players. They're still there. They still kind of run that same, wide open pro style offense. So that to me is probably the biggest one or the best one on the entire board.
All right, fair enough. We'll look at FAU. I was looking at last week we had the over in Minnesota, and Minnesota did their part. They scored 41 points. The only problem was Illinois only scored 14, and then Iowa put up 49 against Michigan State last week. This over is 58. I think if the weather's decent in Minnesota, and just by that I mean not raining, not windy, not something like that, it can be as cold as it wants to be. I like going with the over in this game, to be honest.
That's fair enough. I mean, 2 weeks ago, that Minnesota game, I think they scored 40 points in the first quarter. Yeah, I'm all over the over. That's fine. That works for me. And Michigan State is clearly the doormat of that of the conference, and I think Illinois is right behind it. That's who's Rutgers is playing. So I do like that. That's what I had circled. I had Boise, and then the game I loved was FAU, and then I did have the over circled here as well.
All right. And then we had Cincinnati a couple weeks in a row, and they did good covering for us, but this is a big old number here on this Thursday night.
I got 27 and a half. I don't know that this to them, I don't know if this may be a game that they're just going to kind of show up and do their thing. They could almost accidentally cover. I think we bet against ECU last week, didn't we? And that they screwed us one of these weeks, or maybe I just had them.
Right.
They're not good, East Carolina. I mean, I would, if there was nothing else going on, I would easily take Cincinnati, but I'm probably going to punt on this one just because we got the other games.
And here's a thing to look at too. The following week, Cincinnati has UCF.
You're right.
So if they get up 28 points, they might shut it down late and maybe let up a little East Carolina in there or something.
And even 3 weeks ago when they started winning, or when they knew this game was coming. This game is not. They want to get through this week. Let's get the win and move on, continue with our season. So I'm going to probably stay away. But if I had to, I would lay the point. The
game you're talking about is we had Tulsa against East Carolina a few weeks ago, and Tulsa didn't cover.
Yeah.
They won but didn't cover. So we'll stay away from that. So far on the weeknights, we got Boise, FAU, and over on Minnesota.
Yep.
So moving into Saturday, Webb, anything stick out for you here?
Well, the first thing that struck me was my Rutgers minus 6.5. I think they're going to cover. I will lay something on that, but that's just going to be a entertainment only wager. But it's good to see they're at home. They do have a couple of talented guys. They do have flashes here and there. I didn't see too much else, to be honest with you. Maybe UCF, but that's kind of a big number, 24. Notre Dame I saw, but I'm looking at a letdown there. I'd probably punt on that game, and I don't know. I'm not really looking too strong at the Pac-12. So that's kind of really all I had. I was going to see what your thoughts were.
All right, I got a couple. This team's been performing for us all year. We actually had. I remember the first night of the season we had Kansas, and this team ran. And I know Kansas stinks, but Coastal Carolina went.
Oh yeah.
And whooped their ass against Kansas. And then we took them a couple weeks ago. It was probably the first time we actually bet on Coastal Carolina against Georgia State. That was supposed to be the big showdown, and they showed up and won 58-0. Last week was supposed to be a little bit closer of a game they were going to have, and they ended up winning by 17. This team is good, man. They play good offense. They play good defense. I like Coastal Carolina laying the 11.
10.5. Yeah, Troy. Yeah, Troy's decent, but yeah, that's easy. I'll take that too. No problem.
Okay. I was also looking at. Let's see what we can see.
Oh, in honor of Veterans Day, I was going to say let's take Army plus the 5.
Army, I'm all over that. Plus the 5. Happy Veterans Day to everybody out there once again.
Absolutely.
And then I was going to ask you to explain something to me, Webb, and see what you think about this. How is Wisconsin only laying 4.5 to Michigan? Is my question.
Well, I think that the quarterback is questionable, right? The kid who played week 1.
That could be our answer.
Yeah, he had whatever. I don't know if he had COVID or what it was, but I saw it today.
Wisconsin, their whole quarterback room was.
Yeah, he was questionable, and that's the kid who set the record that worked that first week, or what? I guess it was completions, or I don't know. He set some sort of record week 1. That's the issue. They're just kind of. I think this may be their first game since then.
Right. They might not even have practiced. They've only played one game. They might not even have ever practiced for a couple weeks there.
Yeah, I think that's. I saw that and I was like, you know what? That's just based on the line. I'm staying away. I'm staying away from that one. But if you.
All right, fair enough. Let's see here. I had a couple. I thought
Texas Tech over Baylor. Baylor sucks. I was thinking about Penn State, but they're probably bummed out. That kid, that real good running back, just had to actually retire from football based on some cardiac issues.
Oh wow! I wonder if it had to do with COVID or it was just something?
It was a routine COVID test that found that he had some, genetic thickening of the heart muscle, which is real bad.
One game in the Pac-12 I like, Webb. Washington State got a win last week, but they played Oregon State, notoriously crap team.
Yep.
Oregon is only laying 10. I like they beat Stanford by 21 points last week. Mm-hmm. I think Oregon handles business and takes care of 10 points in this game.
Who are they playing? Washington State, yeah,
Oregon
yeah.
over Washington State.
Yep, that's no problem. I'm good.
All right. Temple
UAB,
really
I
stinks.
saw.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
against
what?
them, I was thinking. Yeah, I got no problem taking Central Florida. But again, they do have that game,
That game the
that
following week, so
showdown next
we can
week.
wait on
So.
that.
UAB, I think, is good. They're kind of I'm just based. I think we bet on them. They might have been the first weekend or the first Thursday, and they won. I think maybe won that night and won another night for us. They're laying a decent number, but they're at home.
North Texas are laying 14 at home.
Yeah, what do you got? Anything on North Texas over there?
Nothing.
What's their record?
Got nothing.
You got a record?
They're 2-3. I'll tell you what they did the last few times. They beat Middle Tennessee State, who stinks, 52-35.
Yep.
And then they lost to Charlotte 49-21. They lost to USM 41-31, who USM stinks. They lost by 30 to SMU.
I like UAB. That's just to say that.
All right.
Put them on there.
Fair enough. We'll put UAB on there.
And I might be okay with that. I think that kind of covers us the entire day, I believe.
I know NC State gave us problems last week when we bet them against Miami, but they're laying 9.
They looked good. Right. They look good.
Well, I was going to say maybe take the points with Florida State in this game. It's 9.5, but maybe we'll stay away from that if we think.
And I think they just dismissed 3 players, and then something that they were in 2-player receiver and a defensive tackle left the program, and then the other kid, and then the quarterback, the skinny kid who started the season, just left. I guess he's transferring.
All right.
It's Florida State's fault that you were the problem, dude.
Right. We'll stay away from that one.
Oh, how about Indiana over Michigan State?
I have no problem with that. They showed that they're good enough to do it. The only thing would be a letdown or something, but I think it's only a touchdown or something, huh?
Mm-hmm. 7 points.
I mean,
and they're not to the point where they're not letting down.
Right. They're 3-0.
They're not a team where
they're not the kind of team that thinks they're too good for something.
Right. Exactly.
All right, so that gives us a lot of games. Let's look it over. Boise, FAU over Minnesota, and then Rutgers, Coastal Carolina, Army, Wisconsin, Oregon, UAB, and Indiana.
Can we say Wisconsin's definite?
Well, let's do with a caveat that they have a starting quarterback playing in the game.
Right. So how many is that? Did you say UAB?
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 games. Works for me.
Yep.
All right, let's go move on to the NFL. We'll start Thursday night. I kind of like the game Thursday night, but we'll see if we're on the same page here. What are you thinking Thursday night, Webb?
I don't know, man. This one's gone back and forth for me. I like both teams in certain ways, and I dislike them in certain ways. I'm not the biggest Phillip Rivers fan. My lean for this would be the Colts to pick them, but I don't feel anything strongly really one way or the other.
All right. I feel like Tennessee gets disrespected a lot. I know they lost to Cincinnati and they lost to Pittsburgh. Cincinnati was a bad loss to Pittsburgh. They got that behind the 8 ball early. I still think this is a good team. They showed last year that they almost damn well went to the Super Bowl damn near. The Colts are a team we've been on a few times. They're solid, much improved, play good D, but I just like Tennessee at home in this game, in this spot. I could be wrong, but
it's fair enough. I mean, I don't. The thing with Tennessee though, like everyone, I think just assumes that they're good defensively, and I'm not really sure why. Just because Rabel's the head coach, maybe. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I just looked at this game and I said, who's got the better defense? But like I said, I don't have a strong feeling either way. I know the line's been up and down. It was like -2.5 and then +1. So yeah, I'm cool with Titans minus out of pick 'em. I mean,
and how about this too? To be honest, I like the over in this game. It's 48.5 ish. Tennessee scores, and the Colts, like you said, Tennessee's defense is not very good.
Right. Well, Tennessee's going to score, right? And then, the Colts and Tennessee's defense sucks. Yeah, that to me might be the solution. Just go over 48.5. To
me, if in the NFL, if you're not at 50, it's an overplay in today's day and age.
No
I don't
doubt.
care. Almost no matter who plays. The way the things are set up in the NFL these days, it's few and seems like it's few and far between for games to be under when they're in that area. You know, when it gets to be 56, 57, we'll see. But when it's
like 52 and under, I'm easily just sending it in.
Right. All right, move on to Sunday. One game I like, Webb. I like the Browns. They had a little time off. Mayfield was in a little bit of that COVID issue, but he's back. You know, the COVID quarantine or whatever. Texans, they're still a mess. We had them last week. They couldn't cover against the damn Jaguars. Browns are only laying 3. Browns are 5-3. They're playing for everything. Just like, you know, I like the Browns in this.
Yeah, I got no problem with that. I know it's Nick Chubb playing. I'm asking. I'll take him anyway. I think the Browns. If you're on the Browns, seems like every week you're playing someone real good. The Ravens, or you got the Steelers like back to back or some shit. And now you got this is a game that they're going to focus in on. This is, like you said, this is going to take us from 5-3 to 6-3. And regardless of what happens, if we get to, we're going to get to 8 or 9 and we're in. So I think this is pretty easy.
All right. Anything catches your eye on some of these?
I think the Packers are going to smoke Jacksonville. I know the number's 13. Jacksonville, that kid had a couple of touchdowns last week. They're not going to, I don't know how many points they're going to score. They're not, it's going to be a 3. The Packers it's going to be a 3, and the other one's not going to be a 2. So it's going to be 31 or 35-17, something like that. So I do like the Packers.
Fair enough. I know, looking at your NFC East, Webb, big showdown between the Giants and the Eagles. I'm halfway thinking about taking a few. The Giants, they're not good, but either are the Eagles. But the Giants have been coming to play at least, and I think catching more than a field goal in this game, maybe that's a good play for a possible underdog play there.
It's +3. I mean, that's the thing. Garrett's team and this team I just got Judge is like a gritty coach. They do play hard. Here's what my thought. The Eagles are getting a little bit healthy. They're talent-wise, they're better. Period. And Daniel Jones had no turnovers last week. So this is why. So if he's going to double up this week, so I mean, I would initially I was thinking take the Giants because they don't look all that bad, and Philly's nearly not that good either. Let's come back. Let's see. Okay. Let's see where we're at on that one.
One game I do like. I like the over again in the Raiders. I think these teams are going to score
50.5. The Broncos. Yeah, that's easy. Like I said, anything under 52, I'm cool with.
All right. Another game. The Steelers. They have starting to run into a little more of this COVID issue. I think Big Ben is a little banged up. He hurt his knee last week, and he's got to sit out of practice this week. But probably Big Ben's the kind of guy he can sit out of practice and no big deal. But the Steelers' defense has shown some signs of
they've been a little bit banged up.
Chinks in the armor, should we say? The Bengals are coming off a bye and catching 7 points. You think there's any chance the Bengals keep this close?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the short answer is yeah. I don't have it here, so I don't even have a line on that game.
Maybe because of the Ben situation.
It's for sure. Yeah, I think he actually has COVID. So I don't know. I'm gonna pump in there. I don't think Cincinnati's very good. Burrow. So I don't have a line, so I'm gonna punt on that.
We'll wait on that. The Sunday night game could be a play. The Ravens and the Patriots. The Ravens are favored by 7 in New England.
I like the Ravens there for sure.
Me too, brother. And then Monday night game, they got the Vikings and the Bears. The Vikings have been playing better the last couple of weeks.
I cannot. I mean, as much as I dislike Kirk Cousins, I can't bet on the fucking Bears. I just can't do it. I mean, they're just not good.
Fair enough. We go to Vikings. I'll take the Vikings, and the Bears will probably do what they do whenever I bet against them.
They seem to be one of those teams. Yeah.
They'll have a punt return for a touchdown and a defensive touchdown, and maybe come up with 1 or 2 plays on offense, and that'll be enough. That'll be enough to beat me. But and Kirk Cousins,
or Cousins will come. Yeah. What team will lose by 1 or something? Some bullshit.
All right, so that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think the Bill flying pretty high, and I think how many?
7 games so far. So we still got room for a few more. Oh, you know what I did like? I like the Dolphins, Webb. Chargers going all the way out east. I know they've been putting up points, but man, the Dolphins are playing good ball. They're playing good D. They're doing it.
Their defense is definitely playing well. Yeah, I mean, I'm that's my squad, the Chargers, but I got no
That's right.
problem. I like Miami. I'm a Tua fan. I like that's like the big long flight is good for me.
But they do play at that afternoon game. So the Chargers, it's not like they're playing that 1 o'clock
Right.
1 o'clock deal. But what about the Packers and the Panthers? I mean, the Buccaneers and the Panthers.
I mean, the Panthers, I mean, that's like what do you want to call it? A lunch pail, whatever. Those dudes come to work.
Find a way to get it close, man. Teddy B, you know what it is, Webb? I watched them against Kansas City the other day. It was so frustrating when you're betting the other team. They dink and dunk all day. So they never get behind the chains. They always get their 2 or 3 yards. So it's always 3rd and 3.
Right.
So and then in that case, it's pretty easy to pick up. The problem is this week, but they've been playing with Matt McCaffrey all season up until this last week, and McCaffrey had an awesome game, but McCaffrey's down again. So he hurt his shoulder this week. So that's the only issue with that. But
I mean, the Buccaneers scare me one way or the other. Like, I mean, we've been waiting. We've gave them the benefit of the doubt, like we said, more than once. I'm going to stay away from this game. I just don't know. I'm going to stay away from the Panthers, I think, in general, if possible. Just because, like you said, they don't beat themselves, and it's the numbers always like reasonable one way or the other. I just can't. I don't have any feeling on that, and I don't know what's going on. Honestly, I have no idea what's going on with the Buccaneers.
Right. Another game with a big point spread. The Saints coming off that big win. The 49ers in that game against the Packers a couple weeks ago were just a shell of a team. Injury wise, I don't know how healthy they are coming back, getting back. I don't know if Kittle will be back. I don't know if Garoppolo is going to be back. I don't know. I don't really know what their situation is. So that's probably one to stay away from unless we know a little more information. I think the 9.5 tells you they're not.
The Saints are clearly the class of the. I like the Saints here just based on they don't have that. I don't even care if they have Garoppolo. He's not that good. Kittle is a baller. Right. But with no one to it doesn't, you need a quarterback. And the thing is, they got Bosa's hurt, and the other defenses. That's to me, it's huge. That defensive line for them was just nasty. And like you said, the Saints got to both lines, defense and offensive line. The Niners' offensive line is pretty good, but the Saints, they got the dude Davenport's real good, and then Cameron Jordan's good. I got no problem taking the Saints.
All right, fair enough. What about I think we covered pretty much all of them, unless you think Alex Smith is going to do something with the Redskins to maybe cover against the Lions, or we can circle back on that Giants game we had talked about a little bit.
I'm not catching that. I can't stand. At least finally today, I felt so vindicated. Someone on the radio was bitching about how overrated Matthew Stafford was. They say actually they may trade him to the Redskins, is what I saw, something like that.
Wow.
They were saying, which would be smart, I think, for both teams. I'm going to stay away. The one game I'm thinking of, the Bills at Arizona. I think Arizona just lost. Did we have Arizona last week and they lost?
Yeah, they lost to Miami last week.
So I think they're going to, and Buffalo is kind of riding real high. They just beat somebody, right? We had them and they won. Is that right?
Yeah, we had them against Seattle and they beat them up at home last week.
My feeling is take Arizona minus the 2.5 at home here.
Okay.
It's really not a meaningless game, but it's out of conference. It's away. Buffalo is feeling real good about themselves.
Fair enough. I'm cool with taking Arizona.
You know what I'm saying, and Arizona, and that kind of brings us to what, 9?
Yeah.
Did we do the Monday night game yet?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That gets us to 10.
All right, cool.
All right, that'll do it.
We did Monday. Yep, cool.
Tennessee over Tennessee, the Browns, the Packers over Raiders, Ravens, Vikings, Miami, Saints, and Arizona.
8-2.
Dig it. That's what we need, man. I would love to see us shoot right up that leaderboard over there. So
I want to get. Yeah, I'd like to be in the top, 4. That way we could strike towards we get it, because as you get down to it, I guess it's probably gonna be tougher and tougher to make a move.
Right. So, all right. Thank you, Wilbur Investigations. Thank you, MN3 Technologies. Thank you, Thrive Fantasy. Thanks to all the listeners out there. Thank you, John Grove, for the bumper music. Don't forget, listen in right now. I'm going to have this coming in. C. Really and Lil Saint the Goat. This is their song, The Wager Makers Rap, coming at you. Tune in radio, iHeartRadio, YouTube. Devin's going to tell you. All right, before that, Devin's going to tell you about YouTube right now.
Yeah, you better not mess that up.
Hey guys, it's Devin. Make sure you subscribe to the Wager Makers podcast on YouTube, like all their videos, and click that bell so that you turn on your post notifications and you never miss another video.
All right, thank you, Devin. And all right, here comes C. Really and the boys. Google Play Music, Podbean, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, SportsWatchMonitor.com, Facebook, The Wager Maker Podcast, Twitter, at The Wager Makers,
YouTube.
Instagram. That shit. Webb, take us out.
Brick by brick, baby. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Episode 70 is coming. Lots of winners this week, starting tonight, all through Sunday night. Thanks, Wilbur Investigations, MM3 Technologies, my man Nicky Perrone, Thrive Sports Fantasy, see really Little
Saint the Goat.
Love the rap, man. We'll see you soon.
Cool.
Welcome to the Wager Makers podcast with Webb and Smitt.
Yeah. Hey, shout out Wager Maker Podcast.
Brick by brick, baby.
Yeah.
Here comes the Wager Maker
Here I go.
Express.
I hear y'all sick of losing money cause y'all don't know how to bet. Better hit that Wager Maker Podcast with Smitt and Webb. They gon' show y'all how to do this. Take these notes like y'all some students. Y'all can't seem to pick them right. Well, tonight y'all lucky night. It's that Wager Maker Podcast. Wager Maker Podcast. Wager Maker Podcast. Your bookie getting sick cause we built this brick by brick. It's that Wager Maker Podcast. It's that Wager Maker Podcast. It's that Wager Maker Podcast. Come and place your bets with that WM Express. Let's go.